Hello everyone, welcome to Trans Youth Channel. It is once again Tuesday, which means you get to see my face, whether or not you want to. This week we're talking about passing privilege. I have a love-hate relationship with this term, passing, because as a generally binary trans person, of course I want to pass. Of course I want to be seen and recognized in public as male. At the same time, when I don't pass, it makes me feel like crap, and I don't like that passing matters so much to me, but at the same time, of course it matters to me. The privilege that comes with passing for binary people and for binary trans men, there is a certain shift that has to happen, I suppose. It's having to happen for me anyway, because when I was being perceived as female, the way that I interacted with women was different than the way that I am interacting with women now that I'm being perceived as male. There are certain boundaries that I can't cross anymore. Certain things are off limits for me, like casual touching, things like that. I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, and that tends to change with the dynamics of whatever relationship you're talking about. Like my best friend who's female, I wouldn't think anything of giving her a hug or putting a hand on her shoulder or something like that. But a woman who I've just met or who is an acquaintance of mine, I feel that there is a wider gap physically now than there would have been if I was being perceived as female. And so navigating that shift has been a little strange for me. I'm having to check myself. Another passing privilege is the fact that now that I am being perceived more as male, I don't feel comfortable in certain women's spaces, like bathrooms for instance. I don't feel uncomfortable for myself going into whatever bathroom, but I don't want to make women feel uncomfortable having a male presence in that women's space. I'm exclusively using men's rooms now, or gender-neutral bathrooms. And for non-binary people, that's a struggle, I imagine. Which bathroom do you use? If you are sort of androgynous looking, you go in the women's room and people might peg you for a guy, and you go in the men's room and people might peg you for a girl. There isn't really a space for non-binary people because we're still in that dichotomy mindset of male, female. And that does make me uncomfortable, even as someone who identifies as male within the binary. I feel uncomfortable that there is no space for those who are genderqueer or agender or genderless, that sort of thing. And there are other considerations to take into account. I am starting to be perceived more as male, which means there is less of a chance that I'll be harassed or attacked in public. And I never really felt unsafe at all, but I know that's a very real situation and reality for a lot of people. I have also toyed with the idea of being stealth in certain areas of my life. I know that a lot of people sort of stealth shame. Some will take that too far and shame those who choose to live stealth for whatever reason. And it could be any reason, you don't need to justify your decision to live how you want to. And that's something that I've been thinking about doing in various facets of my life. And I don't see anything wrong with it. And I think there needs to be less of a stigma around people who choose to live stealth. Lastly, I just want to say that regardless of all of the facets and intricacies that surround passing, it's important to know that other people do not define you. Only you can define you. And whether or not people see you as whatever gender identity you are, that's not your issue, that's their issue. When it comes to your gender identity, it can seem like the opinions and the views of the people around you matter a great deal. And to an extent, they do. But no one has the right to make you feel inferior for living the way that you want to live. When I first came out of school, I got a card from a classmate that kind of sums this up. It has a feline on the front looking in the mirror and seeing a big lion. And inside it says, "What matters most is how you see yourself." And that's kind of how I feel about it, you know. It's in here. And that's what matters most. And I know that there are factors beyond that, but when you get down to the bottom line, how you see yourself and how you carry yourself and hold yourself is really what it's all about. And I hope that you are in a place in your life where you're able to do that and to live fully as yourself and to just be who you are. And if you aren't in that place, know that we love you and we support you, and we hope that one day you are able to get to that place. Okay, that's all for today. I will see you next week. Bye. June was LGBT Pride Month, and so this week's video is about Pride. I myself have never been to a Pride parade or a Pride event. That will have to be rectified. Unfortunately, my city doesn't have our Pride weekend until October, so I couldn't go to a Pride event in June, and that made me sad.